Our main mission here is to eliminate domestic violence and sexual assault in the community through intervention services, prevention education, which is what Ty and Jay do, and social change. So you being in here today is part of that social change. So who do we serve? So anybody who's a community member here in San Miguel County and also in the west end of Montrose County, which is Nucla, Natarita, Paradox, Norwood. Well, Norwood's in San Miguel County, but Norwood's included in that. We go all the way out to Egner as well, which most people probably haven't even heard of. There are tiny little towns out there and they still need our help. So those are our two main areas. We do have a lot of people that call asking about questions about loved ones in the area, or they found us somehow on the internet and they don't live here. So we pretty much help anybody who's a victim of any sort of crime. But our primary clients are with domestic violence and with sexual assault. So last year was one of our biggest years that we've had yet. So we had 314 clients served overall. That is new clients plus old clients, so we don't have a specific statistic on that one. But 186 of those were domestic violence clients calling in with problems with their significant other. So 59 were sexual assault victims. Both adults and children are included in that statistic. 69 were classified as other, so either a different type of assault, suicide, stalking, and or child physical abuse as well. 2,964 phone calls that we had last year, so that equaled about 884 hours of direct client contact. 1,488 in-person contacts, totaling over 1,000 hours. 78 Hispanic clients were served, so Deanna has almost a third of our clients, which makes it really hard. So we're always looking for advocates that speak Spanish, that can help out in any way that we need. So 62 were West End clients, meaning mostly Angela, but they also come into our office or call our office a lot as well. 9 adults and children were safe housed for over 27 nights, and 500 prevention education presentations. So Ty and Jay have their hands full coming up on that. And we'll get into a little bit more what everything means and dive deep as we dive deeper into the course, but these are just kind of a little overview. So we have 4 main programs. I think there's a 5th one on here that's not as big as the other parts. But so client services is our #1 goal. So everybody's job is a little bit different in the Resource Center, but everybody works with clients. And no matter how busy you are, if there's a client in need, that's always what comes first. Rachel Cook, who isn't here tonight, is our client services manager. And unfortunately, she's leaving us, so we do have a job opening. So if anybody would like to apply with us and work with our team, please do so. The Prevention Education Program, which is Ty's program, so they go into the schools, like she said, here in Telluride, Nucla, Natarita, out in Paradox as well, trying to teach young children to, adolescents about what's proper touch and what, my body belongs to me, all the way up through the more intense stuff, which we get to talk about. The Cultural Outreach Program, which is Deanna's program, mostly working with the Hispanic population here in town. And she does a great job. If you ever have any legal questions, she's the one to go to. The Rural Outreach, so would that be mostly you, I think? Okay, so that would be Angela's, so that's the 5th one that I was talking about. That's not in our main category. The volunteer program, so this is you. I think we have over 100 volunteers, but we only have about 20 that take shifts and probably about 10 that do it regularly. So I'm really happy that you're here because it's quite the challenge. We have about 600 hours each month of hotline coverage that we need, and that is just for volunteers. So our office has the line Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and the rest is up to you guys. And hopefully you decide to continue on with us. So why is the San Miguel Resource Center so important here in town? We provide the only victim services in San Miguel County and the west end of Montrose County. So clients would need to travel 60 to 100 miles to receive similar services elsewhere. Now the closest resources are in Delta or in Cortez. So Montrose has...
They have the
tri-county,
but their shelter isn't Delta.
Yeah, okay, so the shelter would be pretty far away. We have 1,000 square mile rural service area. So we do actually cover quite a bit of land, but unfortunately our population is so low that some of the services that we offer are very limited. Let's see, victims in a rural area of domestic violence are especially vulnerable. The nearest neighbor or closest law enforcement office often is miles away. So knowing that we're just a phone call away for some people actually does keep them safe. So we often work with clients intensively over the course of several or many years. So some clients just need service for just a day. Some people, which we'll talk about clients later once we all sign that confidentiality, but they can come back over the course of years, either with the same perpetrator or different ones, depending on what's going on in their life. We can help connect people with the resources they need, such as law enforcement, legal system, which Deanna's great at, social services, which is big, we gotta protect the kiddos, counseling, housing, shelters, whatever they may need. We have quite the list. So our main goal is to listen, to validate and believe people's experiences. A lot of times they don't have anybody else to talk to, or they don't have a safe place to discuss these pretty private things that happen to people. So we're, for the most part, a really good listening ear. So our philosophy is not if we can help someone, but how we can help someone. So we try our best. We can't always work miracles, but we sure do try. So it takes the entire community to make this all happen. As a nonprofit, we really rely on volunteer services, fundings that Angela works out for us. So grants and fundraisers are very big for us. So we do some locally federal grants that Angela applies for. We work a lot with our state.
We're about a third federal and state monies. We're about a third private foundations and donors, and then a third is basically from our Chocolate Lovers Fund.
Which has active advocates you get a free ticket too, so that's something to look forward to. We rely on our volunteer advocates to run our 24-hour crisis helpline. Advocates work the helpline on average between 500 to 600 hours per month. And we definitely could not do this work without that hotline. And so you are all very, very valuable to us. We believe that daily there are opportunities to create awareness, educate, and break the silence around interpersonal violence. With the knowledge and skills gained during this program, we hope you walk away with the tools you need to help build a very compassionate community. So I'm hoping that the crime victims advocacy that you learn here, you don't just use it with us, but also branch out and use it elsewhere in the community. So what is advocate training? So throughout this program, you'll receive a solid introduction, education, and certification in the fields of domestic violence and sexual assault. advocacy, hotline counseling, legal and law enforcement issues, and child advocacy. After you complete the 40-hour program, you are a certified victims advocate in the state of Colorado. So you can take this anywhere you go if you decide to move away, which we hope you don't. And as an advocate, you are giving someone options and alternatives, helping them see the good parts of their life and helping them to create change in your community. We can provide incredible support for someone just by listening. So that's always a great tool that we have here in, well, with the Resource Center. There's not a lot of places to call, but what else was I going to say about that? One last one. So topics throughout this course are very heavy. It is a for some people, it can touch a little close to home. So if at any point you feel uncomfortable or you need to take a break, please feel free to do so. If you need to go to the bathroom's down at the end of the hall there. If you need to, not right now, but if you need to take a walk, please, we don't need an explanation. So if it's too much, just let us know. So every night we will come in and there will be dinner provided, and so you can help yourself during the evening whenever you feel like you want to eat.
It's spectacular. So nice.
Pretty good in there. And it'll all be like crock pot stuff because we don't have a real kitchen. So just to warn you on that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to review the previous class. I'm going to talk a little bit more about homework later, but we'll go over homework if you have any questions on that. That's what we'll do in the beginning of the class. Most of our classes, we do have people from our community coming in to talk with us about what they do, why their job is important, and how we work with them as well. So I'll give you our syllabus in just a second. And we'll take a little break. We might have another speaker or two come in. Some nights we have up to 4 people coming in to speak to you. And then if we have time, we might do some role plays, kind of getting an idea of what our calls are like, what kind of situations that we deal with. And then we'll end with a little debrief and some self-care exercises. So that's our main focus tonight, is talking about self-care. So what you can expect, your time is very valuable, and we appreciate that you're here very much. And you can expect us to be on time, on schedule. Hopefully the presenters will be on time as well. And I will try my best to communicate with you if there's any changes. We'll follow the syllabus laid out for you. I'll get that to you in just a second. Sorry, I forgot to hand those out. And if you become an advocate, we hope that you will come to our monthly meetings. We do one here in Telluride and then one in Norwood as well. Take hotline shifts if you're available. Doesn't always work with people's schedules, but that's our main goal, just to let you know. And volunteer for events if we have them. So a lot of times I'll send out emails. If you have spare time, it can range from helping with the chocolate lovers fling or possibly watching some kids for Deanna while she does some of her program work, and other things that we do in the community. So we hope that you can communicate with us on what you like and what you'd like to get out of the training. And if there's certain things that you're not liking about this training in particular is a little bit different than what we have been doing. So if you have any feedback for me, good or bad, I'm definitely open to it. So if you're not liking something, please let me know. And we encourage you to take care of yourselves through the training. And we're going to go over that in just a second. And you're definitely making a huge difference just by being here. So again, thank you. So when you're logged in, our website, your homepage will be the student dashboard. So if you log out, it'll take you back to the normal website. Shouldn't really matter, but anyway, so this is our training that we have here. So the orientation, so if you know anybody that wants to take the class that's not here, they can go into the orientation part, watch the PowerPoints that we went over today in class. There is manual, our training manual reading. I don't know if anybody had a chance to do that prior to this class, but if not, read that tonight as part, or over the next week as part of homework. I think that was, sorry, I'm just going to go back to the syllabus as well. So on our syllabus, there should be a homework section, so it'll tell you what module that we're on, so what you need to complete, and then also the homework as well. So homework for tonight is finishing this manual reading, and also, you know, if you lose your syllabus, I do have a copy of it on here, and the paperwork as well. If you lose a copy of that, you can print it out from the website if you need it. So that's the orientation piece, and then self-care is also what we're going to go over today in class. So if somebody were to miss it, we do have the presentation, and also I just put on here 28 self-care activities that you can do, and we're going to go more into that later. So jumping into the course, though, will be the modules. Module 1, domestic violence and sexual assault. So I've set it up so you have to complete each section to be able to move on to the next. It's basically just a small quiz that you'll have to take online to be able to get access to the next section. If you have any problems with that, just please let me know, because I'm still trying to work out all the little bugs. But the domestic violence section, so each section should have the manual reading that you'll have to go through, and I've estimated about how much time it's going to take you to do so. Some people might read a lot faster, so you'll get through it pretty quick. We have PowerPoint presentations for most sections that will be online instead of, I don't personally like them in class, so that's why I'm choosing not to use them as much. But so hopefully everything will be up to speed. We do have a few other videos that you'll access through our website. It should open up a new browser.
Crystal, scoot over. We can't see what you're doing on
Thank you.
the screen.
And it'll take you to the video just from there. The homework, so you've got two options. If you do want to print it out and fill it out, you can do that and then bring it in to me. Or you can, I think it's not a PDF, it's a Word document, so you should be able to edit it at home and then you can just email it to me. The homework is required for the certification, so just make sure you stay on top of that. I would like you to turn it in the beginning of every class, I'm sorry, if you can. I know life gets kind of crazy and people get busy, so if that's the case, don't worry about it, but you know, there's a lot to do because we're only doing 15 hours in class, 25 hours at home, so there's a lot of work to do. So try not to fall behind if you can. And then, so I think that the website should be pretty straightforward. And again, just let me know if you have any questions with that. Any questions so far? You guys okay? So I'm gonna go into our self-care presentation. So I think a big part of being a victim's advocate is kind of knowing how to draw that line between the lives of your clients and your life. So it's really important basically not to take this all home with you. There is a lot of trauma that happens to people and it can affect your mood, your state of mind. So we do try to take precaution to keep ourselves safe and keep up that wall, if you will, to, you know, to not let everything in too much, because it's a really heavy topic, so it can drag you down a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about self-care. I'm not going too fast. I'm still playing with the timing of everything in the class, but we might get out early. Hopefully it won't be too early. So self-care is big. There's a lot of different aspects of each person, so make sure that you kind of touch on all of those topics, not just for this class, but also if you've got a lot of stress, if you're working too much. These are all great tips to use to keep yourself sane, I guess. So everyone, well, not everybody, but a lot of people tend to have a spiritual side. Taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally is all very important. So compassion for others begins with kindness for ourselves. And there's a lot of people that say you can't truly love somebody else unless you love yourself. So you're the number one, you're the most important person in your own life, so you gotta take care of yourself. So different things to keep in mind. So nutrition, sleep is huge. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Exercise can help with stress relief. Social support, so going out with your girlfriends and having a glass of wine, or your buddies and having a beer. And taking the time to relax, because that's very important. So no one who, like me, conjures up the most evil of those half-formed demons that inhabit the human beast, and seeks to wrestle with them can expect to come through the struggle unscathed. So Sigmund Freud is one of the, I'm going to turn the lights down, sorry, probably the most well-known psychologist, or, sorry, just wanted to, is that okay? Let me see. And so this is a big topic for us, compassion fatigue. Sometimes, well, definitely being working in the office, we get this a lot, where our clients' lives can be so stressful and we can kind of get caught up in the moment that we almost feel physically and mentally exhausted just by talking to somebody on the phone. So compassion fatigue is a state experienced by helping those people in distress. It is an extreme state of tension and preoccupation with the suffering of those being helped to the degree that it is traumatizing to the helper. I'm going to be careful in this sense. So just a couple of things to think about if you find this happening to you. So in the last week, I found myself thinking about work without intending to. I'm sure that happens to everybody more than we'd like to admit. I have felt detached from others, so that can be a sign that you're stressed or you're kind of feeling down. I have felt emotionally numb. In this business, it can definitely happen a lot, where, well, hopefully not a lot, but working with people and so much is happening, or they're so draining on you that you almost feel numb to their situation. So that's not what we want. We want to be able to help them. We want to feel that compassion for them and work to help, make their life better. And so if you're feeling that way, it's definitely, if you're taking a lot of hotline shifts, it's getting to you too much. It's okay to take a step back and take a break. So don't ever feel like you are obligated to take the hotline or to help us out. So it's all up to what feels comfortable for you. I have felt irritable. I get that way a lot. I get very irritable if I'm stressed out or if I'm overly exerting myself. And I have experienced difficulty concentrating. So that, again, if you're trying to help somebody in a stressful situation or somebody who is in a crisis, if you're not able to concentrate on what's going on with them, it might be time to step back, take care of yourself for a little bit. Compassion fatigue burnout symptoms. So starting with cognitive, lowered concentration, like we talked about, apathy, rigidity, disorientation, minimization, preoccupation with trauma. On the emotional side, kind of feeling powerless. I'm unable to help this person. I just can't do what they're asking me to do. Can cause a lot of anxiety, guilt, anger, numbness, fear sometimes, helplessness. A lot of times you feel really sad. about what's happening with your client, depression, depleted, shocked, or burned out. So just be careful with all of that. So experiencing troubling dreams, so if that starts happening to you, I mean, I used to have work dreams about being a waitress and being very stressed out all the time. I haven't had any nightmares about the resource center yet, but if it happens, you know, definitely take a step back, think about what's going on. And then suddenly and involuntarily recalling a frightening experience while working with a client. So again, I don't know everybody's past history here, I don't know your story, so if something does touch a little too close to home or brings up past trauma, again, feel free to take a walk, take a time out and skip a certain part of the training if it makes you feel uncomfortable. Behavioral, so if you're getting irritable, if you're withdrawing from your friends and family, if you're getting moody, not sleeping well, if you're having nightmares like we just talked about, appetite change or hypervigilance, and isolating as well. So if you're kind of retracting from your social scene, from your friends. So spiritual, if you start questioning life's meaning, if you start to feel very hopeless, feel like you have a loss of purpose, questioning your religious beliefs, everything. Somatic, so sweating, rapid heartbeat, breathing difficulty. So these are all, if something's, like hopefully you'll never have a call like this, but it does happen. Just put that out there, that their situation can be so intense that it then causes you to have a physical reaction to it. So just be aware of that. And again, you're never alone as an advocate, so if something is too intense for you, you always have staff backup to rely on. Somebody to call, any one of us, if you need help with the situation. Those who have experienced compassion fatigue describe it as being sucked into the vortex that pulls them slowly downward. They have no idea how to stop the downward spiral, so they work harder and continue to give to others until they're completely tapped out. So try not to let this happen to you. We want everybody to feel fresh and ready to go when it comes to working with our clients. Compassion fatigue is caused by empathy. It is a natural consequence of stress resulting from caring for others and helping traumatized or suffering people. So it is a big job that you're jumping into. Compassion fatigue is also often triggered by believing that actions would not make a difference or never seem to be enough. I myself am experiencing that a little bit right now with one of my clients. I feel like I'm not able to do what they want me to do. And again, Angela likes to say they think we have a magic wand and we can just fix all their problems. And the reality is we can't always do that. So. Experiencing problems with the system, so frustration with the legal system, which is really big in our business. Law enforcement, injustice in courts, so people don't always get what they deserve when they commit a crime, and that's really hard to see. The disappointment from our clients and what you think is fair. So. Having personal issues such as inexperience or inadequate energy, and then identifying with a client or caller can also trigger compassion fatigue. So studies confirm that caregivers play host to a high level of compassion fatigue. Day in, day out, workers struggle to function in caregiving environments that constantly present heart-wrenching emotional challenges. So this is definitely our work. I don't want to scare you, it's not always like this, but sometimes this does happen. Affecting positive change in society, a mission so vital to those passionate about caring for others is perceived as elusive, if not impossible. This painful reality, coupled with first-hand knowledge of society's flagrant disregard for the safety and well-being of the feeble and frail, takes its toll on everyone from full-time employees to part-time volunteers. Eventually, negative attitudes prevail. Again, we try really hard not to let that happen. A path to diffusing compassion fatigue. First thing, that's what we're going over right now, is awareness. So knowing what's happening, if you're starting to feel this way, look for those warning signs so you know when to stop or when to step back. Acknowledgement, assessment of balance between proximity and vulnerability. So you never want to put yourself into that situation where you're giving too much to your client and it's taking away from you. And then action. If you sense that you are suffering from compassion fatigue, chances are excellent that you are. The path to wellness begins with one small step, and that's awareness. Sometimes you just gotta forget the world and take care of yourself. A couple things of how to offset compassion fatigue and reduce the risk of it. So create open environments with employees, other volunteers for mutual support. So if you were to be on the hotline and get a very intense call, it is great to debrief with one of the staff members in the morning. If it's a hard call, we usually reach out to you. If it's something small that we might not think has triggered you, but you kind of feel like you need to talk about it, please come in and speak with us or give us a call if you just want to go over what happened. It's a great way to get it off your chest so you know that you're not the only one knowing this situation with a person. Encourage talking about how people are affected by their work, so debriefing is huge. This is a big reason why I really encourage people to come to our advocate meetings to kind of talk about our client load, what's going on, the types of calls that people have gotten, and how it's affecting them and how they dealt with it. So you can always learn new tips from other advocates, or even just talk to them about situations that you might not have known what to do. And so it's great for that. Offer training that educated employees, volunteers about burnout, compassion fatigue, and how to recognize the symptoms. We talked about this, sharing your caseload, hot calls, which is somebody who's in a crisis. So are great to share among team members, like I just mentioned. Encourage healthy self-care habits, and remember to thank yourself for doing what you do. You are very appreciated by everybody that needs our hotline. So just think about that. So self-care is not selfish or self-indulgent. We cannot nurture others from a dry well. We need to take care of our own needs first, and then we can give from our surplus and our abundance. So take care of your body. It's the only one you'll have to live in. So these are just a few resources for you as advocates to reach out to us at the Resource Center. So any staff member is happy to talk to you. Friends and family, we will be signing that confidentiality agreement, so you're not allowed to disclose any names or identifying information, but if you do need to talk to someone, we hope that you talk to us or other advocates first. Going out into nature, media is always good if you need some sort of debriefing or need to learn a little bit more about what's happening. There's a lot going on the internet that you can go through. Spirituality, creativity, and sleep, I think, being the number one.